Hello gamers, today we are going to talk about upcoming horror games 2024 and beyond. Autopsy Simulator. PC building, power washing, lawn mowing. It was only a matter of time before we got a somewhat medically accurate autopsy simulator. But the interesting thing about this upcoming PC horror published by Team 17 is that it has a story. If you've ever seen the movie, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, as Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch discover terrifying secrets surrounding the body of a young woman, expect similar creepy goings on here. We play as a middle-aged pathologist uncovering strange occurrences as he slices and dices through his day job. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. The sequel to one of the most harrowing games of 2017 is on the way in Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Ninja Theory's darkly beautiful action-adventure is making a comeback, and although Hellblade 2 is not touted as an upcoming horror game specifically, it's hard not to see it as one. Desolate landscapes ooze gothic sublimity as Senua battles with not only external horrors, but her own mental health in a Norse mythology-inspired world where reality is hard to distinguish from fantasy. Hellblade has all the visual semantics of psychological horror while not vilifying its heroine for her struggles, and that makes it one deeply unnerving dark fantasy game worth your time in 2024. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. Just when you didn't think we could have any more horror movie-inspired asymmetrical multiplayer experiences, along comes a squeaky shoot game we didn't even know we needed. It's finally been given a release date after a 2023 delay nudged it into this year, and we've been waiting oh so patiently ever since. Any self-respecting 90s kid will have sneakily watched this camp cult classic far too early in life, and it looks like the developers are exactly the same. In great news, TerraVision Games has Friday the 13th TH's Randy Green back on staff to make sure that the comedy horror translation is as smooth as possible, and the team is even working with the original directors, the Kyoto brothers. Honk your nose if you're itching to clown around with these gun-toting Ronald McDonalds. Still Wakes the Deep, one of the many delightful, not to mention terrifying, reveals from June's excellent Xbox showcase was this upcoming narrative horror game from Dear Esther and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture devs The Chinese Room. The trailer for Still Wakes the Deep was short, but sweet enough to fully convince us that this could be the peak of the new survival horror boom. We don the boots of an offshore oil rig worker who finds himself trapped and alone amidst a deadly North Sea storm. Oh. And the oil rig exits are somehow gone, and there's something lurking in the empty corridors. Little Nightmares 3. This spooky platformer series is getting a third installment in Little Nightmares 3, will be accompanying to new mini-heroes, Low and Alone, as they navigate the treacherous world of Necropolis and beyond. Lane 3 will be the first game in the series to be developed solely by Supermassive Games, since past co-developer Tarsier Studios moved on to other projects. With Supermassive being the mind behind some of the scariest interactive horror titles ever. We can't wait to see how the Dark Pictures Anthology Studio brings its unique brand of chills and thrills to the series. Reveal, There's nothing quite like a trip to the circus, is there? Creepy, empty, cavernous, big tops. Those giant welcoming clown mouths. It's, quite frankly, intense. Asterisk insert clown nose honk here asterisk reveal praise on all of those fears as we explore the memories of a man called Walter Thompson. He can't find his wife and daughter, and suddenly can only think of his time as a circus builder in the 1960s. This is a psychological horror game with an apparent focus on puzzles and environmental exploration. The devs warn of both psychedelic and disturbing elements. Why does it always have to be clowns? Paranormal tales. Of all of the horror subgenres, found footage crawls under your skin in a very specific way. On the surface, our brains know that this is fiction, but the shaky handheld footage from phones or even body cams demands to be taken seriously as a threat. Cue Paranormal Tales, a terrifying-looking Unreal Engine 5 creation that lets us play various found footage files, encouraging us to explore further into the dark to discover what happened to those who were foolish enough to start hitting record. Expect plenty of movie-influenced jump scares and figures lurking in corners. You didn't even see the one in the screenshot above, did you? Slitterhead, who needs a new Silent Hill game when one of the brains behind the series is working on fresh scares with an all-new horror game. Kiakiro Toyama, the creator of both Silent Hill and Forbidden Siren, is the head of Slitterhead Devs Boca Game Studio. He's even hired the Foggy Town's composer Akira Yamaoka to terrify our ears, as well as our eyes. We're not entirely sure of the plot, or even how it will play just yet, but expect horrifying twisted monstrosities, dismemberment, and sheer terror, and you probably won't be disappointed. The casting of Frank Stone, the team behind asymmetrical horror game Dead by Daylight, is working with upcoming Little Nightmares 3 developer Supermassive Games to create a brand new single-player interactive story game. Set in the same universe as Behavior Interactive's DBD, the casting of Frank Stone looks set to be a choice-driven narrative adventure that combines the lore of the multiplayer game with Supermassive's signature branching horror gameplay. It will feature an entirely new cast of characters to the one seen in Behavior's horror ASM, meaning fresh killer and survivor lore could be in store. Who knows, maybe Frank et al. Will make it to the mainline game itself someday. Until Dawn Remake, one of the best PS4 games, is getting not just a simple remaster, but a totally rebuilt remake in Until Dawn. Crafted in Unreal Engine 5 for the higher specs likes of the PS5 and the more turbocharged gaming PCs out there. This terrifying choice-led adventure is slated to launch sometime this year, following its announcement at a Sony State of Play in late January 2024. The original Until Dawn still stands up as one of the most thrilling, high-octane PS4 games to date. With player choice taking a front seat, as every twist and turn you take seals the fate of your main characters. This is one for the Dark Pictures anthology fans out there to add to their wish lists if you missed out on it back in 2016. Returning fans will still find plenty to love in this enhanced version, from a reworked soundscape, third-person camera angle, and brand new content to expand upon unexplored emotional parts of the story via PlayStation blog. Hope you like this video and comment your favorite horror game. Bye.